Hi everyone, are you a beginner or is your elo less than 1500? Start playing this opening as white. You will start winning more games. I will cover few variations in this video. Please watch till the end as there is a trap which you will be using against your opponents. White plays knight f3. This is the starting position of this opening named Reti. Black can respond with e5. This is a wrong move already because white can take the pawn. If black responds differently, let's say by moving the queen's pawn e5 d5, now white responds with c4. Now black has two options here. Black can take this pawn, or black can you know even advance the pawn. There are two variations here. We will covering each of these in detail in this particular video. Let's start with the variation where black takes the pawn. White plays e3. This is to regain the pawn that was lost. Now black can defend that with b5. Now it's an important move. White has to play a4. This is to make sure to attack the defending pawn. Now if let's say white takes the pawn, black has an option to take back the pawn, but you can see that the rook, the black's rook is hanging. White's rook can easily take black's rook, and white is easily winning, right? So black should not take this pawn. Now simply you have regained the pawn and you can additionally take black pawn. Instead of playing e3, black can also play the knight to attack the pawn. Now if black defends the pawn, you can comfortably take the pawn, and you can see that you have easily recovered the pawn that you have lost. And then further, now you can play e3 as well to take the second pawn. Now in this case, if black pushes this pawn, you can come back, and now again the pawn on c4 is attacked. So white can comfortably gain a pawn, and then white has a pawn up, and then you can develop the other pieces. You can castle, and then you can start pushing. Now let's take a look at what to do if black advances the e5 pawn. White immediately plays b4. Black moves the pawn. White develops the bishop. Black develops the knight. White moves the pawn to fianchetto the bishop. Black moves the pawn, and then white advances the pawn to light squares. White fianchettos the bishop. White castles. Black moves the bishop. Now you can see a strong pawn chain is being developed by white. All the light squares have a pawn chain. Black castles. Now white moves another pawn, a pawn. So this is this looks a very solid setup for white, and if black doesn't play carefully, it can easily lose the game. Let's look at another way to play if black advances the pawn. White plays e3. White develops the bishop. Black takes the pawn. White takes back the pawn. White advances the pawn before the queen. White develops the bishop. Black also develops the bishop, and then white castles. Black also castles. This is another way to play, right, when black advances the pawn. You can see that all of white's pieces are developed. If black doesn't play normal development moves like d5, e5, instead it plays knight, you follow the basic principles of chess. Take control of the center by pushing the pawns. Black's trying to play like a king's Indian defense. You push the pawns. You see you have a very strong center. You can develop the bishop in the next few moves, and then castle. This looks like a very strong setup for white, and if black doesn't defend well, white can easily win the game. These are all the variations that will be in the Reti opening. Now let's look at a trap which you can use against your opponents. These are the moves that we discussed earlier. White takes the pawn, black takes with the knight, white moves the pawn to fianchetto the bishop. Now white moves the pawn, offers a pawn to black. This is the trap here. If black takes the pawn, there is a fork, with a check, and the black's bishop is gone. Thank you for watching.